my thoughts like a sculpture. Respect the architect. Design my thoughts like a sculpture. Respect the architect. Design my thoughts like a sculpture. Respect the architect. Design my thoughts like a sculpture. Respect the architect.
A Jacobin. It's not going to.
Oh, hell, that happened. Sorry. Okay, let's go ahead and turn that down a little bit. There we go. Okay, let's just turn. Oh, holy moly, what's going on with the audio? Okay, sorry about that, folks. I guess. So let's go ahead and jump right into it here. So this is, I think this is going to be the last time I talk about this guy, because I think that Hello 99, I see him in the chat. The truth is that, yeah, these guys are vampires. These guys are folks who just, they live off of drama. They live off of, stolen memes, this and that. How's it going, Long Dog, my man? How are you? I was going to say is that, you can't be messing with these folks too much, because I think ultimately, as much as they, have purged their recent audience because of, because now they're anti-theists, this and that, and, everything else. But of course, they will work with, vampires, as mosquitoes, more like it. Yeah, mosquitoes, yeah. But I don't want to waste too much time talking about this. But I think that his anti-theist stance is ridiculous. I also think it's a straw man, because most of the United States and Canada and most of the West, quote unquote, what's going on, Mongoose Man? Most of the West, at least people that claim to be Christian, are more Christian atheists in many ways. They don't view Christianity the same way that they used to even 20 years ago. So yeah. You can be a race realist and liberal. Yeah, you can be a racist liberal. Oh, yeah. Well, let's go ahead and go through this. Let's go ahead and go through this clip that I got. Oh, man, let's do it. Yeah, exactly. Let's go.
Be anything like that. It's not going to be Vosh is kind of a liberal, a Jacobin. It's not going to be anything like that. It's not going to be Vosh is kind of.
See, the thing is, okay, so he basically, what he was saying with that is, when the lefties take over, if lefties take over the West, or I think the United States is what he means, there's not going to be, there's not going to be like the Jacobins, this and that, because of course, even though they're anti-theists, they're not like the Jacobins, they're not like the CNT FAI, they're more the Christian Hitchens type, or the Christopher Hitchens type, so, yeah.
Of a liberal in the sense, yeah, I get it, he's a communist, but he's not a total dirtbag, he's not
and
the thing is that people are starting to realize that, yeah, Vosh, yeah, Rainbow Neocon, oh god, you can't make this. No, you cannot. You really cannot. The thing is that he wants to call Vosh a communist and a liberal. No, Vosh is just a liberal. He doesn't want communism. He doesn't want that. He can go ahead and say, market socialism and whatnot occasionally here and there, or call himself a libertarian socialist. The thing is that even Paul's ego, to a point, I was watching a clip of him, and Vosh was responding to it. But the thing is, though, he does have it clear is that, yeah, Vosh is a chameleon. He didn't specifically say that, but that's my take on it. Vosh is a chameleon. He'll say, I'm a libertarian socialist, But then when he's talking to a libertarian, he'd be like, no, actually I support the state because the state, does all this great stuff, And when he's talking with a communist, then he'll be like, no, we actually need to support co-ops, this and that. So he's, like I say, I so much disdain. But yeah, let's go ahead and continue. A lot of this, like I said, this clip basically is just like, let's go ahead and try to hawk pill folks, bro. This is how we're going to do it.
Don't burn.
So you can have your economics and your social views don't necessarily have to be as far left as each other. Obviously, we know that. But I think that the fair definition would be if you have liberal social values, I'll just call you a liberal, just for the sake of it, because I think that then you could be.
Oh, please. See, the thing is, though, they do a horrible job of defining what they actually mean. They get so mad at their former comrades, so to speak, the more Christian-minded folks and everything else like that. They were so mad about that part, because this free Natalie bullshit. Like I said, this is petty. This isn't even like. It's just such cringe nonsense. But yeah, hawk pill. Yeah, the pill no one fucks with unless they're Canadian, exactly. Or if they're British living in Turkey, in Cyprus, as this guy here, or if you live in Wyoming, as Reese does, or if you live, I can't. But anywho, yeah,
potentially won over. You could be shown your hypocrisy. And you could come to terms with that, and then you could actually advocate for something better. And there needs to be less of an emphasis on the intent of a military operation. Obviously, that can factor into the end result.
This is whitewashing, basically. We need to change the, this is basically just putting out smoke and mirrors so that people don't realize what it really is. He has to admit this, basically because he has, like I say, this guy won't debate folks as far as I know, but he admits to a certain point, it's like, well, we can't admit that they're all, like I say, we can't really tell you about the intent of these military operations. Let's continue.
Of it. But I think that a lot of these guys on the left who are against interventionism, they need to come to terms with taking the good from the bad. We're going to put bad in quotes.
Take the good from the bad. Here we go. Does he support the... Oh, absolutely. This guy absolutely does, yeah. How's it going, Temujin?
Oh, they don't... They think that we're interested in Venezuela for oil. They think that the Iraq War was done for oil. Let's just say that was true.
Okay. It's not about oil. It's about competition. That's what it is. It's about competition. Like I said, this is irony because of course they try to give a half limp-wristed sort of attack, I guess you could say, on free market libs and on neoliberals as they call them. But the thing is, though, is that that's the reality of capitalism. It doesn't matter whether you call it neoliberal capitalism or just whichever. Kevin Castley will quote so much about how, these American companies shouldn't be working with China, this and that. They're the ones that are making it because we made it that way. The United States made it that way. South Korea made it that way. Well, you know what? I'll put it this way. They allowed China to build themselves up. Like I said, this isn't even necessarily me being like a China boo. I'm saying this is just pragmatism. That's why I linked at the beginning of this video Asianometry. And you can see what happened. Is that Samsung in South Korea sold rights and they sold information to Chinese companies because because I believe it was Hyundai, more specifically. I'll be very specific here. Hyundai was broken up. And because of that, China was allowed to get old technology and old proprietary information. They were allowed to get that. And China was able to adapt that. like I say, this is less about what China is so great, but more of just this is how capitalism is. You can't be mad. You can't suddenly, shill for capitalism and then be mad at using capitalism to your own advantage. Like I said, it's but of course they won't explain that. They won't talk about TSMC. They will not talk about the fact that there are Chinese companies that are making these screens for iPhones. Nobody's talking about that. They just aren't. Like I say, Asia pretty much control. Like I say, I'll be more specific. China, South Korea, Taiwan, anything that comes with a screen is pretty much controlled by them, I would say, because they are the ones that actually assemble it. They are the ones that actually, have the places to create semiconductors, et cetera, et cetera. I know semiconductors are just one part, yes, but it's a very important piece. I know people can go ahead and say, yeah, over 1 million dead. Exactly. Oh, yeah, absolutely. U.S. screwed up Iraq. Yeah, exactly. They're going to talk about Iraq, too, and we're going to delve into that a little bit. But, yeah, let's go ahead and continue. I'm just saying is that I'm kind of pre-alluding to a lot of stuff, so I'm kind of jumping the gun here. But let's continue.
Just say that were true for the sake of argument. Okay, fine, that's true. It's not, but I'm saying it's true just for their benefit. It doesn't matter, actually. It doesn't matter because the end result is a more liberalized nation, a more free nation. I don't
see. The thing is, though, I mean, I'm seeing a lot of this about Iraq, and a lot of the chat has already brought this up. The thing is that all you have to do with Iraq is say, well, what do you think about the popular military forces? What do you think about the PMF, made up of 40 different groups, mostly Shia Muslim, which arguably have become better and, more effective than the actual current Iraqi military. Same way as Hezbollah has superseded the regular Lebanese military, much in the same way as the Houthis have overtaken, the basic Yemeni military. But they don't talk about that. They'll cope and say, "Oh, well, we create more democracy," but then when it comes out about, they'll still shill and they'll still, backpedal a little bit and say, well, Iraq was a different thing. Yeah, they do have a free country, but but a lot of their leadership has been infiltrated by Iranian simps and whatnot, So yeah, it's absolute cope to me when you see this type of stuff. Oh, it's so awful.
Care, are there interests like that? Is that the reason? Now, not necessarily why the government gets involved, but why some third parties might get involved. I have no doubt. I really have no doubt that they're,
he's not even going to give examples. I think that, like I say, I'm going to use his actual name because they use it in streams. But what Reese doesn't want to say is doesn't want to mention KBR, doesn't want to mention Halliburton, doesn't want to mention, the private military contractors, people like Blackwater, and more specifically, talk about, I'm trying to think of the name of the guy who leads it, but Eric Prince, there you go, sorry. But, he doesn't want to talk about that because he knows he will lose. He knows he will lose because they'll be like, well, I'm sure it does happen, but,
obviously, you could say that about Raytheon. You could say that about any of these. They have to make a profit. It's a corporation.
Okay. I thought about this yesterday a little bit, but okay, it's like, well, they have to make a profit. Okay. Do they have to pay taxes? That's the whole thing. Because obviously, maybe this is a stretch, and maybe this is, maybe a straw man the way I'm putting it, but it's just like, they have to make profits. They have to be able to make money. Does that, like I say, does that enrich the people who work for that company, the employees? Or does that enrich the stockholders, the, CEO, CFO, the CMO, the chief marketing officer, et cetera, et cetera. And of course they'll just say, well, that's for profit and everything else like that. Like I say, it's funny to me, kind of the back and forth that they do here. Let's continue.
Of course. But here's the thing. I've justified that as well, because I want our side to have the best possible equipment when they're going into these operations.
Okay. This guy isn't going to talk about the movie with about not Lords of War, but what's the other one with the gun runners? I'm trying to think of it now. Gunrunner movie. Yeah, there we go. War Dogs. Yeah, there we go. War Dogs, where they sold arms to the Afghani military. Crapola stuff in general. They're not going to talk about the substandard equipment that was sent to the National Guard. They're not going to talk about, the vests that were bought privately and everything else like that. No, they're not going to discuss that. I want the best possible equipment. and talk about, David Pacuz and Ephraim Diveroli, who, of course, is in jail, I think, But, yeah. Triangle of Death, selling, buying Albanian ammunition for the Afghan military without realizing that Albanian ammo came from China, which was banned. Like I said, but they're not going to talk about that. They're not going to talk about any of those types of things. They want the best for the U.S. military. Even when they get substandard equipment, they, yeah, right. How long did it take to get armored Humvees into Afghanistan and Iraq? Not going to mention that. They're not going to mention that. Yeah. War Dogs. Yeah. I gotcha. Yeah. Military also made a stinker about not being able to repair equipment in the field. Yeah. It keeps the war business running. Yeah. Modern allies of future enemy. Yeah. Rinse and repeat. Yeah. We can hear your TV in the background. Oh, yeah. My bad. Let me go ahead and take care of that, Kaz. Hold on. Let me try to close the door here. Sleep on the floor for Israel. Exactly. Yeah. Won't talk about that either. All right. Hopefully that's a little bit lessened now. Hopefully that's a little lessened. But we go back on this back and forth stuff with doors being open and closed and everything. Anywho. Yeah, that does sound better. Okay. But I appreciate that, though, Kaz. You are correct, yeah. Yep, exactly.
The best possible equipment. I don't care if somebody's making money. Oh, somebody's making money off the liberalization of a nation?
What about the fact that innocent soldiers are getting killed? I know that's literally whataboutism. But it's like, yeah, if they actually gave good equipment, okay, but they gave substandard crap equipment. Let me see if I can. I wonder if I could show this. I bet CNBC would copyright strike me. Let me see if I can find it, though. Armored vests. American Greed. I'm going to have to show this clip here. If I can find it on the YouTubes, that would be great. Yeah. Here we go. Let me see if I can. Don't worry, I'm going to show. Let's see here. Okay, there we go. I'm just going to go ahead and show the screen here. I'm going to pause. Okay, there we go. So this is only a minute and 6. Yeah, this is only a minute and 6 seconds long. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and share the screen right quick here. I'm sure they're going to, hopefully they don't take down the stream, but let's go ahead and take a look here. So, yeah, let's go ahead and show this right quick.
American Greed every Friday night.
Brilliant. That was shorter than I thought. Anywho, that was brilliant, wasn't it? Oh, you missed the start? Yeah, that's okay. Yeah. Like I said, this is just ridiculous. So to be honest with you, that goes to show it's okay for them to make money. If even if they cut corners, it's okay. Like I said, you know what? I feel the need. Oh, wait a minute. No, this is okay. It's the YouTube clip. Okay, it's the same thing. Yeah. Oh, David H. Brooks dies serving for insider trading. Yeah. Brooks was the founder of DHB Industries. Okay, let me read this for a minute here. Bulletproof CEO in scam trial. Okay, let's go ahead and New York Post. Biz Journals. Okay. I don't think Biz Journals is. I'm just going to read this. Former CEO of Point Blank gets 17 years for $200 million fraud. Okay. Oh. Okay. I know. Everyone wants their money. I know. Okay. Daily Mail isn't going to do that. Okay. Here we go. Founder of America's leading supplier of body armor to the U.S. military, 61, mysteriously dies in jail after masterminding $185 million stock swindle. David H. Brooks, yep, DHB Industries, brilliant. Like I say, I'm sure you could make your comments about Brooks in the name and all. I'm not going to do that. We're not going to, like I say, read between the lines. Y'all know what I'm saying, but let's not. Founder and former chief executive of DHB Industries was convicted in 2010 of securities fraud, but he died mysteriously in 2010. In 2016. Brooks and co-defendant were accused falsely inflating the value of the inventory of the company's top product, the Interceptor vest, to meet profit margin projections. The vest, made for the United States Marine Corps and other branches of the military, designed to withstand rifle fire and shrapnel. Okay. Withstand is a very fickle thing, but shrapnel, yes. Withstand rifle fire. I don't know that's, like I said, that's why they call them bullet resistant now. They don't call them bulletproof vests. They don't call it bulletproof windows. They call them bullet resistant because that's more realistic. Prosecutor said he threw extravagant bar and bat mitzvahs for his children, in which entertainers such as Tom Petty, Aerosmith, and Eagles performed. Like I say, but that's okay, though. It's okay for them to make money. Yeah. Daily Mail, Thomas, you just won a free Irish car. I know. Yeah, I did. I know. The defense industry needs to be nationalized, war profiteering outlawed. Yeah, that's the whole thing. But the thing is, though, these guys, and specifically, Kevin will say, oh, well, we don't like that. We don't like what they're doing. That's not right for them to do that.
Oh, well, okay.
They don't like that. Oh, we don't like doing that. That's bad. He basically tries to preach protectionism without understanding that capitalism has never been limited to one nation. It never has, and it never will. That's the reality of capitalism. It's just, that's the way it is. When has capitalism ever remained in one country, folks? When? It has never, because guess what? They're always looking for something cheaper. They are always looking for it to be made, for workers to be cheaper, for costs to be cheaper, to have a monopoly. They've always looked for that. So why would you simp for capitalism and then not even realize that, yeah, they don't, Go ahead. Let's continue, though.
That sounds good to me, man. I'm not offended by it. And that's when you kind of veer into... Yeah, exactly. You stray away from what would, be a legitimate criticism of capitalism, and then you just become anti-capitalist, and you're borderline socialist at that point.
I've already crossed that bridge, sir. I've already crossed that bridge. Sometimes I go back and forth, but yeah, for the most part, I have crossed that bridge. I realize that capitalism does not serve me. It does not serve average people. It doesn't even serve these folks. I'm going to try to be honest with these folks. Like I say, I disagree because they have, they have decided to stay on that other side of the bridge. They still believe that capitalism is great and that it's okay for these companies to make money. Until they lose their job, I think that they will still not, they will refuse to go down that anti-capitalist path because they have made their choices. They'll just say, we just need regulated capitalism. We just need to get rid of this crony capitalism. That's all it is. So, like I say, to a certain point, there's no reforming. these folks. And I'm sure that they will feel the same way about me. There's no reforming me. Sorry, there we go.
Oh no, they're making money. That's their current line about these new kind of private space programs with like Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk and all that. They're like, oh no, look at this. They're like, all the rich guys are leaving us, man. They just want.
Well, no, I mean, the reality is that they are in the process of it. Yeah, you either live in the right long enough to turn into these freaks, or you become Noswell. Yeah. The thing is, oh no, these millionaires and billionaires are leaving us. It's like, that's not a surprise. The thing is, though, is that they aren't ready to do that yet. And even though they talk about, colonizing Mars or whatever, I think that there is a channel out there. I cannot think of what it is, but basically it's between these two things. This is what the future of space travel will be, at least in the near future. It's going to be mining asteroids, or it's going to be for energy production. I think that's what it is. I think eventually, once terraforming technology becomes real and is no longer science fiction like Red Dwarf, I don't like to say that tells you how much of a nerd I am. But yeah, once terraforming becomes more of a real thing and not just a dream, pie in the sky sort of thing, then they'll leave. But no, Elon Musk, Beardy Branson of Virgin Records, they aren't leaving yet. No. And the thing is, in none of this do they mention the word NASA. I'm going to make a cringe point. I think this is one other thing I may agree with Vosh on. Is, we wish it was NASA that we're doing this. And of course, people say, oh, NASA, we're Nazis, this and that, But minus that is that, NASA did it for the whole of the country because it represented the United States. So, I mean, it's very funny to me how they'll kind of shift back and forth between we like capitalism versus we love the United States because of liberalism and because of gay rights. Like I say, they're very, very fickle, to say the least. And the thing is, if you push them a little too hard, they will break like a pretzel. They will. They will snap like a pretzel. And they'll be like, well, it was awful what occurred with George Floyd. And we don't like the cop and all this sort of thing. But the police still need to exist and all. Like I say, maybe I'm not going full down the ACAP road, but it's just like the backpedaling that these folks do is hilarious.
And it's like, well, of course, like, who did you think was going to be fundraising this? Like, it's not going to be you. Who's going to be the first person who made it?
Well, the thing is that, NASA got money from taxes. So there was a time when it was funded by us to a certain point, but NASA doesn't exist the same way it used to. That's why people have to go to Kazakhstan, or they go to Russia, or they go, wherever, right? Yeah. So who is their audience? So who finds these folks appealing? Folks that are, like I say, now it's folks that are liberal, that support LGBTQIA stuff. But they want to maintain the current system to a certain point. They just want it to be nicer to gay people. That's really it, in my opinion. That's their target market, if you will. Yeah. Well, Bezos doesn't pay taxes either. Exactly. Yeah, that's true.
Possible for a commercial space flight. It wasn't going to be you. It wasn't going to be anyone who you wouldn't deem to be some capitalist pig. Of course it was going to be Bezos. Of course it was going to be Musk. There's no one else it could have been. But no, they bitch and...
Well, it could have been NASA, but we already said that. We beat that dead horse already.
Complain, oh no, look at this horrible, evolving of the species. Look at this horrible innovation.
Evolving? How is that evolving? Yeah. Yeah. But those people watch Vosh. These people are posers and aren't even pretending there's anything wrong with the U.S. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I think it's ridiculous, to be honest with you. When I see this sort of stuff where it's just like, oh, well, the U.S. is bad, or are the U.S. is good no matter what? Sorry, I lapsed. I let my I let my true feelings come out. But yeah, I mean it's nonsense. Yeah, it would be really funny to see Amazon stock crash if Bezos's rocket exploded. Yeah.
They always find a way. They're such buzzkills, and that really gets to me. That's kind of straying away from.
Oh, they're buzzkills, bro. Oh, don't you want to be happy for them? Don't you want to be happy for those millionaires and billionaires? Shouldn't you be happy for them? They're not going to leave this planet, though. Come on. Let's be honest. They're not. What? No one else except scientists, not insane business leaders, scam artists? Exactly, yeah. Exactly. It was purely the business leader. Businesses are people, right? Yeah. Oh, my interests lie within my country, not the middle of nowhere space. Yeah, exactly. The working class doesn't care about space. Yeah. The thing is, I mean, when space travel does come, we will just become further alienated, literally, from society. We will just be traveling loners in space, just like as it is now, where, people are made contractors, this and that. It's going to be no different in space. So this doesn't evolve society. It doesn't make us, greater because, we're going to go out into space. No, it's going to be the same bullshit that exists here. It's just going to be that much more worse because a lot of people are going to die in space because there's no air and everything else like that. And people are going to have to do trial. They're going to have to do trial and error, such as the same way as it was on planet Earth. So, yeah. I have never watched Cowboy. Well, no, I take that back. I've seen some aspects of Cowboy Bebop, but I've not seen all the episodes. Yeah, the thing you're talking about is literally Cowboy Bebop. Well, honestly, I was thinking in my head of what was that show? I'm trying to think of it right now. I know it's the famous show that nerds love to talk about. I cannot think of it. Hold on. I know I'm a boomer and just old and cringe. I'm sorry. Give me just a moment, folks. Give me just a moment. What in the world? Serenity. Yeah, that's it. Firefly. There we go. I was thinking of Firefly. These folks that are just misfits that kind of do what they have to do to make money and everything else like that. Just kind of living on the edges of society, much the same way it is here, But yeah, that's more, Star Trek, yeah, that to a point as well, yeah. There's so many shows like that, I mentioned Red Dwarf as well. Red Dwarf is kind of in that vein of just, of Lister going around and all that, but yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's all good, though, yeah.
Foreign policy, but I really loathe that shit. That they can look at the advancement of humanity and complain about it, like,
Oh, please. You think that Richard Branson is really expanding reality? No. He did he did what the Vomit Comet did. Is that he just went up into, he didn't even go into orbit. He just went into, the high atmosphere and, probably felt a jolt and then came back down. That's not that big of a thing. People have rightly said is that, yeah, Richard Branson is a marketer. He's not really, some huge leader or something like that. No, he gave people a lot of money to say, hey, can you do what NASA did and what the Russians have done? Can you build something that's good enough so that, so that I don't die in this aircraft, so that I can make myself look cool? That's all it is. It's literally a marketing ploy. This is just marketing for him. But people don't see it that way.
Give me a break. Do you have really not enough concerns in your life that's what's going to get you down? Okay.
Oh, please. I mean, this goes to show that as much as these people complain about Twitter, they need Twitter to argue with folks, don't they? I don't know. Yeah. Luxury space hotels really advancing humanity, basically the same as curing cancer. Lamau. Yeah, exactly.
Anytime anyone makes a profit, oh no, someone's making a profit off of going to space. Someone's making a profit off of liberating Iraq. It doesn't matter.
Like I say, yeah, I mean, Halliburton having those, making money on those, ExxonMobil putting in new pipelines through Iraq. Who cares? Yeah. Branson has a perfect smile. Yeah. Ideal boomer representative. Yeah, I think he is. Yeah, liberating. Exactly.
It really doesn't.
See, the thing is, if I mention about Iraq, the fact that they, have a very big influence, they're influenced by Iran, and, the fact that the Iraqi parliament voted for the United States to get out, they would be the first ones to say, oh, well, the Iraqi parliament is infiltrated with, Iranian-backed diplomats and all this sort of thing. So it's just politicians. So it's just ridiculous. That's my opinion anyway. I wonder how the profit is derived. Yeah, exactly. From slavery, from, going and shooting people up and everything else like that. But no, we don't want to talk about that.
And quite frankly, there wasn't a whole lot of profit to be made in these wars anyway, and that's why the free trade bros don't like them. These are, can be very costly endeavors.
See, the thing is, okay, there's no money to be made. Ask Eric Prince. I think that he made a lot of money from that. From protecting diplomats and everything else who came in. What do you think happened to all that money that disappeared in Iraq? You think that money just, just poof, disappeared and went to the people or something? Or what do you think happened to it? These, like I say, that is ignored. They don't want to talk about it. They leave a lot of details out. They will go on and on, specifically about Kyle Kalinske. They are obsessed with him. And it's just like, because I think that they wish Kyle Kalinske was one of them. I really do. I think that they think that Kyle Kalinske could be one of them, yeah. Why are American troops still there? Yeah, I think it just comes from, I have no idea, to be honest with you. I think it's just hatred, to be honest with you. Yeah. So are these guys fascists in the real meaning? Yeah. Probably so, yeah. Same thing with Gaddafi's money, too. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Nobody in Iraq asked to be liberated from the most popular leader in the Middle East, possibly centuries, yeah. Pentagon will pay it back, right? Yeah, exactly.
But ultimately, I think there's something to be said for fighting an economic war. There's something to be said about protecting trade routes. There's something to be said about coming to the defense of Saudi Arabia, not only just because
let him finish this point,
because they're an ally, but because imagine the impact. I mean, we've even seen bits of it, the impact that would have on the oil industry. Saudi Arabia suffers these massive attacks, but oh no, you can't talk about that. Anytime you talk about concerns like that, oh, they just see you as some greedy capitalist. Except it's not greedy capitalism. It is a genuine concern for how that would affect the lives of everybody around the globe. Everybody. Of course.
See, the thing is, these guys, like I say, another aspect that is pretty obvious listening to this is that these folks are obsessed with, foreign policy, this and that, but yet if you ask them any detailed questions about, what do you think about the popular mobilization forces? That's what I meant before. I think I said something else. But yeah, the popular mobilization forces in Iraq. Crickets. Or they would just say, well, that's bad. Or ask them about Hata'ib Hezbollah in Iraq. And it's just ridiculous, in my opinion. This sort of thing that they are defending, it's a very vague notion, in my opinion. It's very vague, and they purposely leave out details where it's just like, well, we have the ability to vote, and laws and stuff like that. Miranda. It's just like Iraq's resource and population has never been more free from exploitation. Yeah, for exploitation. Yeah, exactly.
Of course, these routes should be stable. Of course, the economies of the world should be protected. We have a vested interest in that, but you can't talk about that. You can't.
Are you talking about the royal we, or are you talking about corporations that make money to keep these routes open because it's cheaper, sort of we?
Talk about, oh no, they're guarding the oil field. See, it's all for oil. Again, those people have no real comprehension of how the world really works. They seem perfectly fine to just leave natural resources to be plundered by tyrants.
He's got a hot take coming up. Oh my goodness, it's hilarious. But the thing is, though, he will ignore, of course, the fact a couple months back, as y'all will remember, that, yeah, please notice me, Atlantic Council. Exactly. What they will ignore, of course, is the fact, oh, well, they're protecting the oil fields. Yeah, they're protecting the oil fields in southeastern Syria because they're selling that oil. Because the Syrian Arab Army and the Russian Air Force, or the Syrian Air Force and the Russian Air Force, both strafed and attacked these oil tanker trucks that were going to Israel and going to, Turkey to sell this oil. But of course, they're not going to talk about that. No, it's nonsense. It's all BS. Hold on. Give me just a moment, folks. It's all nonsense. It's all BS. No, it doesn't exist that way. Let's continue. One of my friends is MIA in Afghanistan. What do we really get out of it? Yeah, exactly. That's the whole thing. All you have to do is ask them a very simple question. What does the average person get out of this? Is it more money for you? No. Not more money for you. Does it give more, chances for us to get, job opportunities, to be sent to Afghanistan and possibly be kidnapped? I guess that's the best option, where you'll get more money if you're sent to Iraq or Afghanistan. I've known a couple guys who did that, but I guess, I guess that's the best thing. I guess more money if you want to be sent overseas, I guess.
But you're guarding them. So what? That's just as bad. They wouldn't even say just as bad. They'd say that that's the problem, and you should just surrender oil to Saddam.
Okay. Yeah, let me explain this. So the Saudis aren't tyrants as they are also exploiting their resources, but have yet to be given the liberation treatment. The thing is, what they say is this. They go by this thing called the Kirkpatrick Doctrine. The Kirkpatrick Doctrine basically is, I'm going to simplify it in the most basic terms, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. It's that simple. And what they see the Kirkpatrick Doctrine is this, is that working with Chile, under Helicopter Man, or working with, Indonesia and working with Suharto. They went on and on about that because apparently one of their ex-friends, who they still follow on YouTube and still follow on Twitter, and, it's just ridiculous. It's just honestly just bullshit. But, and they're like, oh, well, Suharto was just someone that we worked with. My point is this. Is they think that Saudi Arabia is being reformed because Saudi Arabia has allowed women to drive. Saudi Arabia it's reforming. It's becoming more like the U.S. That's how they see it. So that when they support these countries, like Chile under Pinochet, or working with the Saudis, is that eventually they're going to reform. They're going to reform their system so that they can more properly fit into the West. It's nonsense and it's a lie, but that's what they believe. They believe that eventually somehow they're going to be reformed because reasons, I guess. Yeah.
Or to Assad or whoever. So again, that's even when it comes to more leftist politics rather than liberal, I would see that as a betrayal. That you could even hawk-pill someone who was coming from an economically left-wing.
Oh, this is a hot take coming here.
Further left-wing position than me on economics, and you could say, "Well, that's very interesting." So you seem to have this concern with fat cats stuffing their pockets. But you seem totally content to leave resources at the whim of someone who has all the power in a territory. You're concerned about the 1%. I can find a 1% for you. It's called the Assad family. So again, it's hip.
The Assad family are the 1%. He's going to say Putin is the 1% as well, while ignoring, of course, the fact that huge companies that exist in Russia, they will ignore the Russian companies that are in Syria right now. But, Assad is the 1%. Amazing. Amazing, isn't it? I'm sorry to use the meme, but that is hilarious, isn't it? Assad is the 1%. The thing is that if you ever brought up the fact that the Koch brothers work with both Fred Koch, the father, worked with both the Soviet Union, Nazi Germany. Same thing with Henry Ford. Henry Ford helped to form the company Opel, that was a subsidiary of Ford, but he also helped to build the Gorky Automotive Factory, known as Gaz, which is now a private company in Russia. Like I said, that's all here and there. Oh, well, Ford was an anti-Semite, and the Koch brothers and, Fred Koch, they were just, exploiting, these people and whatnot. No, it was an opportunity to make money. It was an opportunity for them to have what they want. But people like that are just full of shit, yeah. Clearly, an absolute monarchy is more likely to reform than a literal democratic republic like Iran under Mossadegh. Exactly, yeah.
Hypocrisy, the pretzels that people have to turn, spin themselves into in order to justify their, quote unquote anti-imperialist stance is garbage.
And your defense of these systems is you doing mental gymnastics to try to make it work, thinking that, well, it's okay for them to make money. Well, it's okay for them to buy up City Hall and everything else like that. Oh, that's too far. Well, like I say, these are hypocrites. These are folks that will, speaking of pretzels, though, I said it already, they would snap like a pretzel if you ever challenged them in any serious way and said, well, what do you think about the company towns in the U.S. where companies owned parts, such as Chicago, where you could not spend that money outside of this area, where everything was controlled by the company. These people don't care. They'll just say, it was like that before. We've changed now.
Absolute garbage. They claim to, be on the side of the people. Oh, we want to hear what the people have to say. Except the people in Cuba. We don't want to hear what they have to say. Except the people in Iran. We don't want to hear what they have to say.
Well, the thing is that all the Cuban people or just the people that you approve of? He's going to, like I say, once again, this is the whole, we have to defend the Cuban expats. Bro, here we go.
They'll always just prop up some dupe, or they'll or they'll condemn people who have fled these regimes as exiles, call them all manner of racial slurs because that's cool to do apparently now. And
oh, please, using the term gusano. See, the thing is, look, if you had half a spine, if you had just half a spine, not even a whole spine, if you had half a spine, you would just say the word, say gusano. But you don't want to do that. Like I say, man, it's unfortunate what's going to happen with Cuba. But it's what it is, Anyway, let's continue. I mean, Jason Unruh already, I think last month, and I don't follow Unruh, so I don't listen to him anymore. But Unruh already gave up on Cuba. So, like I say, Baathism was and is a good thing for the Arab world. This man can go fuck himself. Yeah, I agree.
Leave it at that and say, well, of course. No one should listen to them. I mean, they left. Well, they left for a reason. They were fortunate to escape, or their families escaped, and they happened to be, the kids or the grandkids or whatever. That's a good thing. That's a very good thing that they escaped, and they escaped for a reason. They didn't just leave and they were disgruntled and they started bad mouthing and making up lies about the conditions over there. And that's what people, they're stuck in a lot of cognitive dissonance. Even supposedly, I heard about this. I didn't actually see it, but Hassan Piker was
This is a point I really genuinely don't understand what he's about to make. When I heard this the first time, I'm like, what is he talking about? Made a new vaccine to sell and make up for money lost in the tourist part of the economy. Yeah.
He was
We'll
casting
see, Hello
doubt
99.
on the idea that famous influencer was arrested in Cuba. Arrested on camera.
On camera.
Arrested live on the news.
See, the thing is, to me, what are the Cubans protesting again? Basically, lack of money. Basically, it's that Cuba got a lot of money from tourism, and they weren't able to get it. Basically, kind of just austerity measures. Basically, and they're accusing the Cuban government of corruption, this and that, and basically just I put it under the umbrella of austerity. That's my opinion. But yeah, kind of interesting, Now, of course, I know that Wignats used this point, but nobody's talking about South Africa, though. You don't hear Vosh talking about South Africa. You don't hear. Maybe I'm moving the goalposts here, but the thing is, I think that Cuba, and this is something I know that Tanky's use in general, but I think that Cuba has never had the strongest system, I guess, so to speak. Lack of medical supplies. Yeah, that's probably more accurate. Thank you. But I feel like with Cuba, this is my take on it, and I haven't given a big take, but so I'll give it here. I think that in general, I think Cuba, is just trying to find some sort of legitimacy, and I think that they are trying to hold on to some form of socialism. But I think that they are, just like any other countries, that they are, crushed by this system. So they have to play the game some way. So we're going to see what happens. That's all I can really say. I know that's not much of a response, but that's all I have.
And then there was video of her being led out to the patrol car. Oh, but it's a CIA rumor. Yeah, I see. Very, very convincing doctored video, I have to say, after watching it. And again, that's a bit of cognitive dissonance, because as much as he LARPs as a commie bro, there's still a little bit of liberalism inside of him. He's a dirtbag, but again, it's kind of like there's two.
Well, the thing is, he said, I remember seeing Hassan Piker on Vosh's stream a while back. He does have liberal aspects. Yeah, like I said, that's not really that surprising. I don't even care that much about Hassan Piker, but I guess he thinks that somehow Hassan Piker and Vosh, this is their whole thing now, where it's like, we're going to try and hawk pill the bread tubers like Vosh and Hassan Piker. We're going to try to make them like us. No, they're not going to. They're not going to join you, because you guys just will simp for capitalism continuously. And the fact is that they have created an audience that, while they respect capitalism to a point, in general, dislike it. So you're not going to get that way. But yeah, I don't even really know my opinion on Cuba. On one hand, I want the golden circle. On the other hand, the U.S. government is paused, so I don't even know. Yeah, that's true. Even though they look pretty well fed, though, I even saw heavier people amongst the crowd. I don't mean to offend average people who are on the heavier side, just pointing the irony. Yeah, okay. Pre-existing shortages brought about by the blockade, exacerbated by the pandemic. Yeah, that's true too. Yep, and the blockade. But these folks are pro-blockade. So there you go. Well, let's continue. I know I'm starting to sound like him, aren't I? But let's continue.
Wolves in you. One's a dirtbag and one's a liberal. And Hassan's liberal wolf is malnourished as all hell and is like cowered in a corner, but it's still there, and you can see it.
His liberal wolf is in the North Korean gulag.
Oh, exactly. It's real hungry. Like it's not having a good time, and you hate to see it. You hate to see all these guys clearly wrestling with cognitive dissonance, and it's just like, you want to tell them, like, look, it's okay. You can be a liberal. Like, I know that that's not fashionable. If you come out as a liberal, it's not a sexy position. You're going to get attacked by both sides of dirtbags. You're not going to make a whole lot of friends that way.
Yeah.
Unless
They are.
you start to network and you start to connect with all these other people who are liberal, which is what I've done. And then you don't really pay the hate any mind. And you realize that you're actually standing up for something that's worth fighting for. It's not just these vague, solidarity slogans.
What are you fighting for? That's the whole thing. Now, to be, genuine here, I mean, if I showed the whole clip or showed the whole bit of that rant, they just kind of go off and make their jokes and everything else like that. But the thing is, though, they don't explain what they're really fighting for. I guess what they're fighting for is gay rights. They're fighting for anti-theism, for, I guess, our current federal system here in the United States, I guess, even though it's fairly corrupt. But yeah, it really is. It really is.
Slogans. They're like, no solidarity with the repressive regime. They can't finish that. Like, they'll just say solidarity. Because a lot of these guys who do have more, a very hidden liberal streak, if you were to actually sit them down and explain to them the reality of what's happening, that's what happens to people, even like AOC. At one point, AOC is still pretty far left. She's certainly much further to the left than me. But I think her time in Congress really has, mellowed her out. If not genuinely, she's had to mellow out for the sake of her career. But even she today, she had a tweet in Spanish that was in solidarity with the people of Cuba, and she deleted it because she was getting negative feedback. Jesus. It was so lame. Like, come on. Like, so you can see this struggle in people. Like, deep down, so many people are liberal. They have liberal values.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I agree.
But they're concerned with how that's going to be. Oh, no, people won't like that. People will think I'm, whatever, problematic. People aren't going to like that, so they're going to turn on me. It's like, well, you know what? Yep. Alexandria, those people already turned on you. And that's what I'd say to Joe Biden, too. Those people already turned on you. They don't like you. It's time to move on. It's time to stop appeasing people. You literally have to sell your soul.
Yeah.
Actually, not literally. You have to figuratively sell your soul.
Excuse me.
Here we go. Hold on.
They don't like you. It's time to move on. It's time to stop appeasing people. You literally have to sell your soul. Actually, not literally.
Here we go. They have to show their anti-theist cred. So even when making, a comment that pretty much everyone gets the idea of selling their soul, but because they're so anti-theist and they want to keep up this cred, they have to make sure that they say, but the soul isn't real. So go ahead, though. It's ridiculous.
You have to figuratively sell your soul.
Excuse me, the soul doesn't exist. See?
That's true. Figuratively. See, this is what happens when I get irate. I lose track of the meaning of words and it just becomes soup. But you have to sell your soul is a figure of speech for these people. You have to sell out. You have to lose all manner of integrity. And it's just not worth it, because even if you're the greatest comrade in the world, you really step out of line just a little bit and it's all over.
Asked if I was a communist.
Oh, okay. I think I made a bad cut there. But basically I'll finish up with that clip is what he said, is that basically his former friends, I'm a little bit further away from the mic, so that's why it sounds not as good, but it's okay. So what he said was basically in that clip is, is that they're calling me a communist because I, am against religion, this and that. And, the thing is, he had an idiotic audience. That's the whole thing. I mean, I'm not even going to criticize him, but for the fact that they promote these ideas and they don't know what they mean. I genuinely don't think they do. I genuinely don't think that they know what corporations do. And I think that they just, what is the story of these guys? Why are they mask off neocons? Okay. I think that the real story is this: is that it starts with Kevin Castley, and he graduated with a degree in political science. Oh boy, I mean, I'm pretty bad off with a degree in marketing, but still. So he got a degree in political science, and you had people like Spooky Nukies, formerly Nightmare Fuel, who was already making content, and basically, here they are now making content together because they kind of hold the same views. Where it's like, yeah, they're both anti-theist. Religion's bad, but we don't want to destroy churches. They still haven't said anything about the. I'm still good. I know that I've gone a bit on and on about it, but the fact is that they go on and on about being anti-theist and whatnot. But when it comes to Catholic churches being burned down in Canada, nothing. No words, no response, no videos to say, well, like I say, it's amazing to me, of course, being this anti-theist and promoting this sort of idea. But then, not even wanting to make a response about what goes on in your own country, it's just ridiculous to me. But yeah, maybe they need to read Penison Heist by Ellen Schultz to see what corporations do. Yeah, was flirting with alt-right groups a few years ago, but he joined the neocons because he didn't want to go down the Wignat path. Yeah, although he's imperialist, he believes in race realism. Yeah, also believes in race realism despite being LGBTQ+. Yeah, exactly. They give lip service to the ideas. You know what, Hello 99? If you can find the clip or find that video where they expose them, let's go ahead and do that. Why not? I'll go ahead and waste some time here. I am sleepy, but I'm glad that I did a stream today and get it knocked out. So if you can find it. If you can't, it's okay. No big deal. But yeah, I think that these are so racist liberals. Yeah, they really are. They're just racist liberals that don't want to go down the path of like, oh, we're going to, China bad, this and that. China created the conspiracy, But they don't want it, like I said, they won't say outright. It's like if I asked them point blank, would you ban Chinese students from coming to the United States? They'd say, no, we don't want to do that. That's ignorant nationalism, this and that. I think that these folks just, they'll say based Reagan, this and that. And of course, ignore that Reagan kind of supported South Africa, which feel as you want to about South Africa, but it's like, or they'll love Israel and they'll just, they will talk shit about Christianity all day, but will never say a bad word about Judaism. But then they will, but then when if I ever ask them a question and say, what do you think about Israel supporting apartheid in South Africa, in Rhodesia? They'll be like, well, that wasn't good, but that was just necessary for the time. So yeah, this is just how they are. Yeah. When Nightmare Fuel went mask off with his race realism, I think it was 2017 or something. Oh yeah, exactly. I can't stand that group most because some of them act like third position fascists while holding views that are pro-liberal. Yeah, exactly. The thing is, largely they're irrelevant, but the thing is, though, they're such toxic people. And I think it's worth saying. I think it's definitely worth saying with these folks. It's just like, they are poison. These folks are poison that just, they will not, they're just cheerleaders for the status quo. Absolutely. They will give lip service to certain ideas, but then they will try to say things like, well, these big corporations are bad for what they're doing, but they'll continue to love capitalism. Or they'll say, well, I have a brown person here, so that means, it's okay. They just continue to, like I say, now they don't like conservatism in general because they don't like Christianity and say it's evil, this and that, but it's like, come on. And they'll give lip service to it and say, well, Protestantism is actually, the closest thing to, real Christianity. And I'm like, what? You really believe that? Like I said, these are folks that just, they they want so bad to be, just they want so hard to be part of the in crowd. They want to be Vosh. They want to be a Kyle Kalinske. That's why they talk about Kyle Kalinske all the time. They want to be them, but they can't. I mean, that's the reality of it. They want to be these folks, but they cannot do it because they just continue to promote this sort of, well, if we just do things this way and that way, just give me a break. There we go. And I'll go ahead and do that. And do that. There we go. Yeah, these are folks that they just are not willing to go down the full path, That's the whole thing. They aren't willing to go down that full path. They aren't. Because they're afraid, because they want to be, they want to be part of the system. That's the whole thing. This is their audition. This is how they see it. This is their audition to the system to say, yeah, look at us. We're part of the system, folks. We're gonna, that's all they want. It doesn't matter if it's a crumbling system. As long as they get what they want, they don't care. Let's go ahead and watch this, though. Why not? It's less than a minute long, so let's get into it.
Hello my friends. This is Benito Vittorio Ludovici. You may also know me as the Chief Smear Merchant. Apologies in advance for my ridiculous accent, as English is not my first language. Kevin Castley recently responded to my very epic feature-length production detailing his co-host's bigoted remarks against...
Okay, here we go. Yeah. Colorful history of comments on minorities and Muslims. Yeah, exactly. Obsessed. How is he wrong? Get a life. Exactly. Oh, my goodness.
Minorities and Muslims. Signor Castley would like you all to know that he agrees with the sentiment wholeheartedly.
See, the thing is, if y'all remember my second debate with Kevin Castley, I even brought these same issues up, where he'll say that Israel is a race, or he'll say that Jews are a race. And then, I was, saying basically the 14 words of this guy, except, just replacing, we need a place for Jewish people, this and that. But of course, he blew it off. He didn't answer it. It's the same thing when he went on that tirade at the very end. And he's like, even if you own me, this and that. And I said, he said, bomb these Arab countries. And it's like, you mean kill Arab people? No. And he gave kind of a soft backpedal. But, it's the same thing when he talked about, the Palestinians. It's like, oh, you sound like you support what the Chinese are doing in Xinjiang. No. Mine's going to be nicer than that. It's just pitiful to me. It's just like, if you're going to be, if you want to be an authoritarian, go all the way. Don't try to play this, this sort of centrist sort of line. If you're going to go down that road, go down that road. Don't try to play things off,
Despite being a cosmopolitan liberal atheist, Castley is apparently an unapologetic racist and eugenist.
Yeah, exactly. Now I'm saying bleeps. Oh, boy. The same IQ as he had. To be fair, I say whites. I need to check my racism. What's your opinion on race realism, Kevin? Yeah.
And is not afraid to admit it. A shame. As a Sicilian
I said
Italian
blacks.
PLC,
Oh, boy.
my offense knows no.
Facts aren't racist. We support equal rights, but we're not going to pretend everyone has the same IQ. Oh, boy.
Bounds. Remember to share this with your friend to expose this racist in your community. And, as always, subscribe to the Big Man in Chief Benito Vittorio Ludovici for more content just like this.
Okay. Well, let's see what else Mr. Man has here, because he had a video talking about... Okay, this is the only one. Okay, he must have been taken down. When did he get... Okay, yeah, so he just started... Okay, not too long. Okay, so his channel must have just went down. Maybe he's one of these friends of his that got kicked to the curb, I guess. Yeah. Yeah. Are they libertarian leaning by any chance? No, they're just liberal. They will give kind of lip service to some sort of statism, So no, they're not really liberal. Yeah. Genocide bad, wholesome genocide, however. Exactly. Yeah. So the ADL line of ethno-nationalism is good for Israel but bad elsewhere. Yeah, basically. I thought it was kind of thin, you know. It's kind of thin. I know other people have talked about how Reese Nightmare Fuel felt about Muslims, this and that, but of course now they've kind of went back and forth. Oh yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, with I'm trying to think of it now. The I know who you're talking about. It's ironic that I read so much that I read his Wikipedia page about objectivism, but he Ayn Rand Institute. I know he's on. Okay, Ayn Rand Institute. Yeah, Yaron Brook. There you go. Yaron Brook. But yeah, Yaron Brook, of course, since has debated Vosh, and he's debated. It's funny that what's his name? I cannot think of his name now. The other, I'm really trying not to go there, but let's see what. Yeah, and him has a lot of video about race realism, but he's a liberal. Yeah. Oh man, I cannot think. But anywho, he has to. Yeah, Sam Cedar. I'm sorry. Thank you, Wicked Energy. My mind is gone. But yeah, he did debate Sam Cedar as well. It's funny that he debated Vosh, and Vosh said, he called him Yaron, and he wasn't bothered by it. But when he was talking with Sam Cedar, he said it's Yaron. I think that he figured that because he was talking with Sam Cedar, he was like, oh, okay, you know how to pronounce my name. I guess technically it's Sam Seder, isn't it? Because that's, the Seder. Right? So, I mean, I guess it's Sam Seder. Is that how you should pronounce it? Same thing with Yaron. Because basically, he was like, oh, okay, well, he's got the name Sam Seder. So he must, yeah. On X Vermont. Yes, I did. I did see that video. That was pretty good video. Yeah, talking about the atrocities that occurred in African nations, everything else like that. And just kind of talking about it from a more realistic point of view of what these guys felt. But yeah, very good video, though. I will say that. I think I've pretty much said my piece on this. I really need to let this go with people like him. It's clear that they are not, and I will agree with Hello 99, is that these are mosquitoes. These are vampires who will just suck whatever they can out of, a movement, right? These are folks that they don't know anything else. So they're just like, we're going to stick with this point of view regardless. And I think that's dangerous. And they will make some reforms here and there, so to speak, and they'll make themselves seem more supportive of gay rights and everything else like that. But if you ask them, oh, well, what do you think about Stonewall? Well, like I say, they are no different than the conservatives that they kicked out of their movement. They are no different. The thing is that they just don't want to be honest about who they are. That's really what it is. They just don't want to be honest with who they are. They want to continue to play this sort of back and forth game where it's like, oh, the UN is cringe, but we should support NATO. And they don't even realize that the UN and NATO are basically hand in hand. But they don't care. So, yeah, I think that's all I really have to say about it. I think that this, these are folks that, while they are slightly bigger than this audience, I think that they are still, someone needs to call them out. And basically, I just felt like, maybe it was just insanity, maybe call it cope, call it whatever, but I feel like somebody needs to say something. It's like, what the hell are these guys doing? What do they think that they're going to achieve with this? I'm not even going to get mad at them for their anti-theism. If you genuinely believe you're an anti-theist, fine. Okay. But just be an anti-theist then. Don't imagine that, the West, prospered because of, liberal values, this and that. It's like, and what do you say about critical race theory? They'll still make fun of critical race theory as well and be like, well, yeah, they want to maintain the status quo. That's really all it is. They just want to maintain the status quo and are not willing to criticize it in any way. It's why they, it's why, Kevin will continue to bring up like Nick Fuentes, this and that. It's like, why do you need to keep bringing him up? Nazbowl Nick, and whatnot. Because it gets views. And you have that little, the Nazbowl flag there with Nick Fuentes in front of it. It's just like, it's such a cheap ploy, And it's like, yeah, I do cheap ploys as well. Let me not make myself look like a saint. But it's like, I at least am somewhat honest about it, yeah. Yeah, made to excuse modern liberalism. Absolutely, yeah. But I think that's all I have to say. I'm getting pretty sleepy. I'm going to try to go to bed pretty soon. Hopefully y'all enjoyed that stream. The content is coming when it's coming because I am working a 40-hour-a-week job. So, yeah, it just kind of doesn't really leave me much time to see a lot of stuff. The Cuba stuff, I'm just kind of watching and waiting. We saw what's going, Haiti is already kind of being ignored. We're just kind of in a lull. But I think that the content will be coming out. It's just going to kind of, it's going to come out when it's going to come out. I'll put it that way in terms of making more videos. But yeah, I think that's all I really have to say. Let me go ahead and, I should have played something this at the beginning, but you know what? Let's go ahead and put it at the end, and we're going to make it work. So hopefully y'all enjoyed this stream. See you later. Have a good night, good day, wherever you are in the world, and goodbye. And I'm going to go ahead and make sure we don't do the double audio, so unplugging the mic, and